Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Who Are You Podcast. I'm your host, Connor Overbay. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. Always happy to have a new listener. Make sure you guys check out our social media for like little clips, other interviews, all that good stuff. It's going to be Who Are You Pod for pretty much everything from X, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all the normal places. And same with YouTube as well. I say we finally started our YouTube channel, so make sure you guys go and check that out as well. Make sure you guys give us a subscription on there. Leave us a 5-star rating on anything you guys see us on. And as well as if you guys know anybody who has a story that needs to be told, whether you're an artist, musician, rapper, restaurateur, entrepreneur, feel free to hit us up on there as well. And maybe we'll have you guys on a future episode. But today, sitting down with a very, very special guest, another podcaster as well. So I'm sitting down with Mr. Amp from Random Acts of Podcast. So shout out to you guys. Thank you for coming and sitting down with me today.
I appreciate you bringing me on. I usually always interview people, so this is like one of my, not my first time, probably second or third time somebody's actually interviewing me, so it feels good to be on the other side of the microphone.
Hell yeah, man. Like I said, I'm glad to have you sit here today. And before we get too much started in the interview and everything, please let everybody know where they can find your podcast, any of your social media, all that good stuff.
Okay, so my podcast, of course, is called Random Acts of Podcast. Pretty much on all social medias, RAO Podcast. We got a Patreon also, patreon.com/RAO Podcast. If anybody want to support or anything, we got that. youtube.com/RAOP. All that good stuff.
Hell yeah, man. I'm going to have you bring that microphone just a little bit closer to you.
Okay.
There you go. You're good. The side of the tables are moving around and everything. But no.
We good.
But like I said, shout out and thank you for coming and sitting down with me today. Obviously, you know, you guys have a pretty big podcast, dude. It's been interesting to see the growth because I've been aware of you guys for a little bit. I didn't know if it was Jacksonville or anything like that for a little bit. And I started seeing some guests pop up. I'm like, I know that guy. Wait, I know that person as well.
Yeah, we get that all the time. For whatever reason, people just think we're like outside of the city. But yeah, we're in Jacksonville, definitely.
Hell yeah, man. And you guys have a nice studio as well. I love, like, the main thing that catches my eye whenever I first saw y'all's podcast was the artwork in the background. You know, you guys have, it looks like you guys have a local artist. Is it Mosk or what is that gentleman?
Oh yeah, Mosk One. Yeah,
Mosk One. Yeah,
he did when we first got our studio. We was looking for so the first setup that we was going to do. So one of our gimmicks when we had our old setup, we had like ski masks and whatnot. I was going to put like ski masks throughout the wall, but I didn't really have enough. So I said, I hit up my other co-host. His name is Joe. I was like, you know anybody that tag? And Mosk One, he just came through. He tagged it up, and he gave us a pretty good deal. So salute to him on that.
Hey.
He did both sides of the wall also. I don't know if anybody can see the other side on the camera, but he did both sides. He did a pretty good job. So,
that's clean, man.
Respect to him on that.
Well, that's what I was saying, dude. Like, y'all's studio is just, like I said, it looks great on camera from what I've seen.
That.
Yeah, and I like the old style, like arcade games in the background and all that whole style. It's a cool vibe that you guys have back there.
That's funny because I get compliments on it all the time. I guess because I'm in there every day. But every time I look at it, I'm like, I want to switch it up. But it's like one of those things where it's like, do I want to do it or do I not want to do it? But I don't know.
Nah.
But like I said, I get compliments on it all the time. But every time I look at it, I'm like, man, I need to change it. But I don't know.
Nah, man, like I said, it's a solid setup, and I'm kind of the same way as well. Like, for me, I was, like, basically before we set up the whole studio and everything, this is, like, 2 weeks old right here.
Yeah.
So we used to just have a glass table in the middle, and then I would have someone sit kind of in the same position as you, just in front of the sign. And then I was just like, man, I want to set it up. I've been doing this for 2 years now, and I was like, let's do something big for the 2-year anniversary, and now actually set up the camera and set up the actual full set. I just think it was like it brings a little bit more life to it as well, and I'm on camera. Most of the times I was behind the camera and just on the guest, so I think it'd be cool to be on here and do my thing.
Yeah, but I love your setup. The fact that you even bought the wall panels, bought a soundboard, got some good mics, that means you take the podcast game serious. So I respect you just off that. You got nice lighting, nice cameras, whatnot.
I appreciate it, man. It was all just a process. Like with the Rodecaster, that was probably the first piece of equipment I bought for everything.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't make music growing up. I wasn't aware of like audio mixing and everything. So I was
same here.
Yeah.
I did a lot of stuff through trial and error. Like I was telling you before we recorded, I started off on Skype. Mm-hmm. That's like bare bones Skype with what's the mics called? The snowball mics. You know the snowball mics? That's like $20.
The Blues, I think is what they are.
Blue snowball.
Yeah.
Started off with that. And I don't even think I paid $20. I think I got them off eBay for like $10 or something like that. I started off with that, and then like gradually we just started increasing. So the fact that you upgrading and whatnot. That's a good thing.
Oh yeah, man. Like I said, I do
You're getting good progress with what you're doing.
Trying my best, man. Just trying to get involved with everybody. That was like our main thing about the podcast was I was trying to talk to anybody. It didn't matter if you had five followers on Instagram or 10 million. Like I'm about just kind of representing the city of Jacksonville and promoting the people here who are doing cool stuff or good things and everything in general. And as you start looking around Jacksonville, it's interesting to see what little pockets of different kinds of people are here. You know, there's everything from artists to musicians, obviously. We have Young and Ace, Fulio, and everybody who came from Jacksonville. And now we have artists as well. Like we were talking about the painting before we started the podcast, and that's John Hawkins. Shout out to John, by the way. He's going around and doing his thing and collabing with other people as well. And I feel like Jacksonville's really starting to be more of a collaborative city, where I feel like earlier in the 2000s, it was not that way, personally.
Definitely not. Everybody, they would get their fan base and they just go to another city. But everybody's like keeping everything like in home right now. So I love that.
Hell yeah. So to get into the podcast and everything, what started this? Where did you get the idea to start a podcast? Because we were talking about before we started, you said you started in 2015, right?
Yeah, a while ago.
And that wasn't like podcasting wasn't in the zeitgeist yet at that time. It started obviously nowadays, you know, everybody and their brother has a podcast and people are trying to do their thing. Yeah. But it's crazy that you guys had that idea early and kind of saw the vision to where it could lead to today.
Yeah. Well, when I first started off podcasting, it was kind of like a hobby. So one of my favorite podcasts that I used to listen to back in 2015, I really don't listen to them as much. I probably should start back. But one of my favorite podcasters was Joe Rogan. Mm-hmm. So I used to listen to his podcast like, what, Joe Rogan drop an episode damn near every day?
Damn near every day, dude. I don't know how he does it.
I think he's like on episode 10,000 or some shit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I used to listen to him like every day. I used to listen to him, Bill Burr.
Yeah.
I think his name is Mark Maron or something.
Yeah, Mark Maron. You're a comedy fan.
Yeah, Mark Maron.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another podcast, Rest in Peace, Combat Jack. I used to listen to his podcast also. I never met Combat Jack, but I feel like he's like one of my podcast mentors because I used to listen to his all the time and like soak up so much game. And he was like way before his time with podcasting. So those are like my four favorite I used to listen to. So I was like, one day I was like, man, I could do this. I could start a podcast. So at first, Random Acts of Podcast, the format for it was just going to be me and just interviewing random people. And just kind of like how you're doing.
Yeah.
Just me just interviewing like random people I know. Not necessarily people in the city, but just people I know like online and whatnot. And one of the first episodes I did was one of my good friends. His name is Biff Lawson. He's a comedian out in New York. We hopped on Skype. I interviewed him for an hour, which was pretty dope. And it just took off from there. And then I was going to keep that format, but I think the second episode, I had one of my best friends, his name is Devin. He's one of the co-hosts still to this day on the podcast. I had him, and like everybody that was listening, they were like, I like that episode that you did with Biff, but it was like, Devin, you got to keep him on the podcast. So we just kept recording. It started like blowing up from there. And then we added on Joe. Joe is one of our other best friends. He was living in North Carolina. Then he moved back to Jackson. We just added him on the team, and it just been blowing up from there.
That's cool, man. Like I said, it's cool whenever you can like just sit down with your buddies and kind of create something together. And it's awesome that you guys are still like friends to this day, because there's some people who work together and they're like, I don't want to work with this guy anymore, after so many years. But no, that's awesome, man. So when it comes to like your guests and everything, obviously you've gotten some pretty high profile people on, how do you guys kind of find your guests and, get them to locked in for your interviews?
Well, sometimes some people just hit us up and then we have that. And then I study like a lot of stuff on the internet. I'll look at a lot of stuff on IG. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to podcasts more than music at this point.
That's what I do too.
So sometimes I see some of the guests on other people's podcasts. Sometimes I see the guests just doing random things on Instagram and whatnot, and I just contact them. And
I like it, man.
History.
That's how it works for me, dude. Like people ask me, and I'm just like, I just reach out. You never know who will like respond back and get with you, kind of thing. Like we were lucky enough last week. We sat down with the next ex NFL player. His name is Neil Sterling. He was an old tight end for the Jaguars back when we saw Blake Bortles and we almost went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Miles Jack wasn't down here, but
don't remind me of it.
Oh, I know, dude. I'm a huge Jags fan. Say born and raised here, so it's been a lot of heartbreak. And this year was somewhat better, but not the same results that we wanted and everything.
It got to be Super Bowl, man. We got Super Bowl or bust at this point.
Nah, I agree with you, man. Like I said, last year we were at the game. Me and Shannon went to the game where they were playing the Chargers, and we were down like 21-0 or 27-0 in the first half. And I remember sitting there, I'm like, man, we can't be going out like this.
Yeah, I didn't really go to that many games this year. I think I may have went to 2. I went to the one in New Orleans. I flew out there for that one, and I was talking so much shit during the game, and then they caught back up with us. I was completely silent, but when we came back and won, I started talking more shit.
That was the game where Kirk kind of cut across the middle and got that touchdown, right?
He got the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, that's right. That's the thing about the Jaguars, man. They get you so freaking pumped, and you're like, yeah, the Jaguars are going to the Super Bowl. Like, everybody was talking big about us all, like, on ESPN and everything. And then to go out the way we did was just rough, man.
Yeah, was it the game when Blake had, not Blake, I'm calling him Blake.
Lawrence.
Trev. I believe it was the game after he tweaked his ankle, I think.
Oh, the Cincinnati game.
Or it may have been the shoulder. I wasn't sure. He got so many injuries this season. It was one of them.
He was the most injured quarterback I've ever seen.
Yeah, he kind of taped himself up, but he did a good job during that game. He held it down. We won. He kept his composure, but I don't know what happened towards the end. Maybe it was the injuries. Maybe he shouldn't have been playing. I don't know.
Well, I mean, man, if you tweak your knee, you tweak your ankle, and then your shoulder's gone, man, you really don't have much left. And he got a concussion too. I was like, this man is just beat up like a meme, basically, of a guy all in bandages, but it's like, throw me in, coach. And it was
he
just
had
rough.
no business playing. But when he does get that payday, he does deserve it, though.
I agree. That's the thing. It's like, Trevor Lawrence has been the light that we've needed in Jacksonville for a while because we kept going through quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. We had Bortles, who's the dude who plays for San Francisco, or is a second string for San Francisco, another blonde-haired Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert,
yeah. We went through those, and Bortles got us some hype. We were doing really well. Gabbert just was dog shit awful from the beginning kind of thing, unfortunately. Sorry, Gabbert. But it's been nice to see how things have kind of progressed. We actually have running backs now, and things are just looking up compared to what they used to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So whenever it comes to the actual podcasting game, what do you have any favorite episodes or maybe things that stand out? Because I'm sure you enjoy doing all your episodes, but any moments that you feel like stand out from doing the podcast over the years?
Damn. That's a hard question because we on 500 episodes.
I saw that, dude. By the way, congrats on that.
Appreciate
500 straight. And do you guys put out one a week or a couple a week?
Yeah, once a week. So we got the Patreon too, so we got to put out a bonus one. So if you just strictly a strictly main show, we do once a week. We do an episode every Thursday. Mm-hmm. But if you got the bonus, we pump out bonus episodes. I dropped 2 bonus episodes yesterday alone. So yeah, so we were working, man. So and then we got other shows. So it's we dropping maybe, let's say, if I had to put a number on it, let's say we drop maybe 4 to 5 pieces of content a week.
Damn, man. You guys are hustling. Yeah. And do you guys have a crew behind you, or are you the one doing all the editing and all that stuff?
It's just us 3. I do most of the editing. Everybody else is just on air talent, pretty much. Yeah.
Hey, man, there's nothing wrong with that. They bring something to the show, helps out, and that's the thing I was talking to you about a little bit earlier was the editing side of things. Like I told you, I've released my first YouTube episode, and also doing shorts and stuff. That Premiere Pro, man, that's a different beast. Whenever you first log on there, from going from CapCut to that. Two completely different things, man.
It's overwhelming sometimes, but once you get Premiere Pro, once you get it, you got it. Mm-hmm. But hey, I still use CapCut here and there. I love CapCut because of the captions.
Oh, 100% free captions, man.
One day when you get a chance, when you do your clips, try and do the captions on Premiere Pro. Mm-hmm. It's gonna make you say curse words you never knew you knew. So just use I use CapCut for the captions, but the editing I use Premiere Pro.
100%. Yeah, that's my whole thing, is just starting to get a little more proficient at it. I've been watching YouTube videos for the past week and a half of just how to edit things. Obviously set things up or add the intro, the intro just to the podcast. I had to create my own. I had the logo on there, spin it around, do all that other stuff. I was like, I didn't realize how much went into actually editing and what these professionals are doing. It's crazy to see how all that works.
Yeah, and also when you shout out to YouTube University, when you go on YouTube, some people they tweak CapCut. They do a lot of stuff with CapCut. There's some stuff that you can do on CapCut that you can't do on Premiere Pro. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anytime
you see anything on Instagram and all that stuff, that's all CapCut, with all the captions and adding stuff onto there. It's just, it's all in one. It's pretty user-friendly, so I'm thankful that stuff around because I would be lost in a couple different ways. Yeah. But let's get to know a little bit more of your background, man. So we were talking before, you're from Jacksonville, correct?
Yeah, definitely. Born and raised in Jacksonville.
Nice. And where'd you go to high school at?
I went to Wilson.
Wilson, man. Yeah, I had a couple friends that went around there. And what year did you graduate?
2007.
Okay, I was 17. I graduated. 17. Yeah, I went to Sandwood High School, and the fun place of high schools and everything.
Yeah, I'm an old man, so
nah, man. Nah. So, what was your kind of experience growing up? What were you like? Were you always into talking to people? Were you more into sports, music, all that kind of stuff?
It's funny because I wasn't really talkative that much. Like to people I didn't really know. Everybody knew me as like a class clown and whatnot to people I knew, but I wasn't really talkative. My mom used to always tell me like I should talk more. So when I got into podcasting, that was kind of like a different thing to me because I was kind of like an introvert. I guess that's the proper term, an introvert. Mm-hmm. So yeah, podcasting was definitely like a new thing for me when I'm just talking more with people.
Oh yeah, man. That's the thing. Like with doing podcasts and stuff, you learn how many times you say a word over and over over again. Definitely. And I'll hear myself talking when I do my recordings. I'm like, God damn it, Connor, you need to stop saying that. Like I've heard you say it 4 times.
Yeah, you hit the okay, all that stuff. But yeah,
I also have like my little phrases that I'll say 1,000 times. Like one of them is like, hell yeah. I've heard myself say that 10 billion times on doing the podcast and just other common things.
That's a good thing also because that becomes like your catchphrase. You drop some merch, some hell yeah merch, or hell yeah tee or something like that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll say the next thing that we're talking about doing is the merchandise and everything. That's in the works currently right now. Just trying to get everything set up. Like me and Shannon got married about 4 months ago.
Congratulations!
Appreciate you, man. So we've been together for going on 7 years. So whenever the wedding was going on, all money was getting thrown into that. And then once we finally got married and had a little more cash flow coming in, I could actually add things that I wanted to do. So I was pretty happy about that. But back to the phrases and stuff is. The economy of words is trying to, like with me, I'll read and just kind of find other words to replace other things I say multiple times, just to add a little bit of difference to the podcast rather than just saying the same thing over and over and over again. Yeah. So growing up and everything, I was listening to one of your interviews and someone brought up Zaxby's. You worked at Zaxby's?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I worked at Zaxby's when I was in high school, when I was like 17.
Which one did you work at?
I worked at the one on the airport. So I grew up on the north side all my life, so... The one on the airport. Nice,
yeah. So, funny enough, me and Zaxby's have had a beef, actually, on social media.
So, what's been going on? I've been slandering Zaxby's a lot because I feel like their food fell off.
Bro, 100% did.
It's nothing like how it used to be.
No, dude, I don't know what it is. The taste is different, 100%. It used to be so freaking good, and nowadays it's just like, you're kind of like you're relying on the sauce. You're relying on that Zax sauce for everything nowadays.
I was eating it maybe like... Because I remember at one point I was eating it damn near every week. Mm-hmm. But I had ate it like a couple weeks ago. And when I ate it a couple weeks ago, I had not had it for like 6 months or so. Mm-hmm. So when I ate it, I was like, this is salty as hell. It just tasted really salty.
Oh, my God, dude. I'll smash through a drink real quick whenever I'm doing Zaxby's. I'm just like, geez.
Yeah. But and it's expensive. I think it was like the wings and things was damn near $17. I was like, why is this food so much?
Nothing's cheap anymore, bro. Like, me and Shannon went to Taco Bell, and just for me and her to get 4 things, it's $30 each time. I'm just like, geez, bro. Like, and I also come from working in fast food as well. I worked at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Okay. I did everything.
That's already was expensive.
I agree. I agree with you. But the one thing I will give Five Guys, and like I'm not the biggest fans of them anymore, everything was fresh. Like cut in the morning. Obviously you shouldn't be paying $17 for burgers and fries. It's a little ridiculous, but it's good food. But back to the Zaxby's beef. There was one day me and Shannon went into the local one back when we lived off of Merrill Road. Not too far away from Merrill, or not Merrill, Phillips Highway. We were over there, and we went into the Zaxby's, and this is a little bit after COVID time happened, so people were still a little freaked out about going inside places, but they were open, so we just walked in and grabbed food. I go up to the front desk. Homegirl has 2 AirPods in. I'm like, okay, this is going to be, I was like, this is going to be interesting. And we're going up and ordering, do all that stuff, and she's like, what's your name? I was like, Connor, and so she can, put it in for the to-go and everything. She asked me my name 4 times. With the AirPods in her ear. She's like, I'm sorry? I'm like...
Could you hear the music that she was actually listening?
Yeah, like she was listening to something actively, and Shannon was there with me. Like, I'm really chill. I worked in fast food. I understand people can be assholes and cause issues and stuff over the smallest things. Yeah. Just take your AirPod out. Yeah. And I posted a clip on Instagram, and Zaxby's official messaged me, and they're like, "We're so sorry about this. Which location was this? Blah 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 blah. We can do this for you." I was like, "Mm-hmm." I was like, it was just a whole thing, and I'm still bashing them to this day, dude. After that experience,
that's ridiculous. That's a management issue. If you a manager, when I worked at Zaxby's, our manager he just let us do what the hell we wanted to. So back in I think it was 2006. So if AirPods was around, I probably would have had AirPods in too. But I've looked at fast food restaurants, and I look in the back, everybody got on headphones and whatnot, and I'll just be like, it is what it is. At this point, customer service so bad, I just do like the online.
Bro, it's rough, man. Like at Five Guys, whenever I was a manager there as well, like made it almost all the way to GM, and running the store, doing our things, and if you disagreed with a customer, you could get fired on the spot. Like they had no tolerance for that. If a customer came up and said, "Hey, my burger was made wrong," even if it was made correctly, they're like, "Okay, let's make you another one. We'll get you a fresh one out in 2 seconds."
It was the same way.
Yeah, same way. And it's wild to see how things have kind of gone down. It's just not the same anymore, man.
Yeah, it's at that point. If you like tell them that the food is messed up, they might curse you out, and they probably won't get fired.
Yeah, they're just like, "Hey, it is what it is." You should have got what you wanted. But so was that your only job in high school, or did you kind of like bounce around? What else did you do when you were growing?
I worked at Zaxby's. That was my first ever job, Zaxby's, and I worked at Chick-fil-A.
Oh, you worked at Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, I worked at Chick-fil-A.
The Lord's Chicken?
It's funny because I say it all the time. You know how people say Chick-fil-A employees are like holy and whatnot? Mm-hmm. Out of all the jobs I ever worked, Chick-fil-A, the employees were like one of the most...
some degenerates.
I was about to say a cuss word, but it's just bad people working there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, some of the worst people I ever worked with worked at Chick-fil-A. It was all kind of stuff going on, man.
It's just the fast food world, man. People are always kind of getting into things and doing their stuff. It's just can't change people and everything. So to continue on, like you going through high school and everything like that, did you want to go to college afterwards, or did you decide, hey, I'm just going to go into the working field? How did that whole situation happen after you turned 18?
Like right when I left out. Well, so I always wanted to be a lawyer. So
really.
Yeah, so I went to school for a little bit. I went to, at the time, it was FCCJ. I think it's FSCJ. Mm-hmm. I went there for like a year or two. It just wasn't really working out for me.
What's up, Shannon? Oh, it stopped recording? Oh, you're good. You just want to pass it to me real quick? But no, I totally understand, man. It's just like I went to school as well. It was around COVID time. And whenever all that whole situation happened, I was going to school to be a nurse for a long, long time. And, I was trying to pass these classes and I just couldn't get through them kind of thing. Yeah. And after a while, I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to continue, spending money on this for something that I'm kind of doing half-heartedly. You know what I mean? So I decided to just drop out, do my thing. And we kind of started the podcast. Obviously, I have my day job. I'm a pest control technician. So I take care of houses, residential, commercial properties, and make sure they're bug-free, all that normal stuff. And funny enough, one of my clients is the Lord's Chicken, and going in there and doing all that stuff. But I don't know, man. Like, it's just school was hard. That was my main thing. Yeah. It was just like you were studying for stuff that I felt like I really didn't care about personally. Yeah. I had to take a statistics class to be a nurse. I'm like, why am I taking statistics? I'm like, what is this going to do that's going to add to what I'm trying to do here? And I feel like that's just the main thing. I was just like, I'm good. Kind of dropped out. I'm thinking about going back to school and everything. I don't know, really at the moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was at that point. Like I said, I only went for like a year or two, and I just kind of like gave up on it. I never really liked school anyway, so I just kind of like gave up on it. I know my mom, she was on my ass about it, but I found a job. I had worked at the airport for like 12 years, so I had worked for a company in the airport, and I worked there 12 years. I did management, and then it started like towards the end of it, it started to feel like a dead end job. Even though I was making decent money, like I had my own place and whatnot. I still got my own place, of course. But I don't want nobody to think I was homeless.
I had to add that in there real quick.
But I was living good with doing what I was doing at the airport and whatnot. And then I started noticing like the podcast started blowing up a little bit more. And then we had got the studio. And then I started recording other people, and then I noticed like I get more money recording other people. I was like, nah, let me just do this like full time, the podcast game. But yeah,
oh, that's cool. So you have like a little side gig of doing other podcasts and recording for other people.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, man! So tell me about that. How do you find your clients? Is it just people have seen your podcast and said, hey, I like the way you do things. Can you do this for me as well?
Yeah, we do things pretty privately. We about to start making it like open it to the public. But like all the clients we got, we got the 304 Talk. I don't never know if you ever heard of that. That's one podcast. We got Paid and Bazed. We got Creeping Through the Streets with DJ Hariana. He does his show out of there. And we got another podcast called Nothing Major. We just started producing that. So
Oh yeah, man! You guys are grinders, bro. That's all I'm hearing is just straight grind. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
And just producing all those different shows. So you guys said you have your own standalone studio as well. So obviously it's just in a location kind of thing, or obviously it's in a location, but
it's on Riverside.
Oh, what? That's freaking cool, man. Is it like, are you able to tell that's the studio from outside, or is it more you just kind of shoot people to the location? They just come to it.
Location. It's kind of like in the cut.
Gotcha.
Because I don't want it like in the public, because a lot of the equipment is expensive as hell. So
yeah, bro.
I don't want nobody to just say, "Oh, that's their studio," and do what they want. Nah, it's in the cut. So
well, people will ask me for my the address to come here and everything like that. I'm like, I'll send it to you the day of interview. And that's funny. So my second setup was inside of my apartment, and the same way you did yours, that's the same way I did mine. So yeah. Like luckily, I only invite people on the podcast that I know are safe. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not trying to, I get hit up all the time by guys who are, in the street doing their thing. And there's nothing wrong with that lifestyle. I'm not hating on it. You got to make your money, do what you got to do kind of thing. But if I can tell it's just like not a safe situation kind of thing, I'm quick to be like, nah, man, I'm sorry. This isn't going to really work out for me kind of thing.
Yeah, that's how it was when I had to set up in my house. I was really, a lot of people asking to come on. I was kind of like, if you're not like a close friend or somebody know you, or you, like you said, seem safe, I wasn't going to really invite you over. But with the studio, I just like, we invite anybody over because it's kind of secure and it's gated in. You can't, people can't just come in there anytime they want to.
That's cool, man. I like that setup. That's kind of our goals, man, is kind of do that. And I know like No Jumper, I'm sure you've heard of that podcast and everything. They do that. They have their own store set up and everything as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of No Jumper as well, I've seen you guys have done some interviews with some adult actresses and other people as well. So tell me how you guys kind of got into that situation. I thought that was a super interesting one because you kind of know some stuff behind the scenes, but you don't know the full story. How do you guys meet these people? And I feel like one of your co-hosts went to Exoticon or something like that.
Oh yeah, we both went to Exotica. They actually invited us because we were doing the episodes with the OnlyFans chicks and whatnot.
Hey.
So they hit us up and they were like, "Hey, you want to come through?" So yeah, sure.
Nothing wrong with it, bro. Nothing wrong with it at all. Let's say, I got you, Shannon. Sorry, people. Phone issues over here. No, man, that's like that whole situation's interesting because I've watched like Adam 22 and stuff for the past couple of years and like everything that they do. Obviously, he goes viral pretty frequently with the stuff he does, especially with him and his wife and letting his wife get with other people and everything. Yeah. But walk me through that situation, just going through Exotica, man. Obviously, I'm sure there's just ass and everything all over the place.
It's crazy, man. So outside of the content, I would never go to nothing like that.
That's what I'm saying.
To be honest, I would never. But the fact that they invited us, I was like, I can't pass this up. So I was like, we went through. It was in Miami. We drove down to Miami.
Oh, for real? It was in Miami?
Yeah, it was in Miami. We drove down to Miami. They gave us free tickets, of course, everything comp. So we went through. We just started. They gave us access. We go in the back, interview anybody we want to. So we just went around interviewing people, walking around. The nicest people in the world.
Oh yeah,
everybody's nice. So anytime we went up to anybody, we're like, you want to interview, talk to you being at Exotica and whatnot. Everybody was welcome to it. So we interviewed all kind of people, swingers. It was crazy. One of the craziest things we seen was this dude. He had a whip. And he was just having people just stand in line, and he was just spanking everybody. We were like, what the
hell? There's some wild situations out there, man. You like that whole world because, a lot of times like sex is taboo and people don't really want to get into what they're into kind of thing. And then there's those people who are like, everything. They'll show you pretty much anything you need. Yeah. And I saw the one chick, she like flashed her boobs and everything on the podcast. I was like, oh shit, it's wild on here.
Yeah, we get into that too. So yeah. That I honestly can't tell you how that came about. We were just doing when we got the Patreon, we were just throwing everything in the wall. We were like, we got to get something in for people to want to pay $10 a month for our Patreon. So we was pretty much like, okay, we're gonna do this show. Fuck it, let's do it. So we just randomly just hit up like sex workers in Jacksonville, which is kind of like a hard thing to do because Jacksonville is not really a sex worker friendly type place. Most of the women that do like porn and whatnot, they're like in Miami, the big major cities.
Understandable.
So to come across like women in that industry is not easy at all. So
no, I can definitely understand that. Like in Jacksonville, you don't think of like OnlyFans models and doing their thing with that whole situation. Obviously, Miami, California, the big cities. No, that's cool, man. Like I said, that's an interesting side of things, and getting in there and just, learning new stuff, I guess. And I'm sure seeing things that you didn't know were possible in certain situations.
It's funny. My dad watches the podcast, and I randomly asked him, I was like, what was your favorite episode? And he was like, that one you had with the porn star. I was like, come on, man. And my uncle is a preacher also, and he watches he watched the clips. He doesn't actually watch the podcast.
Yeah.
Because he try and watch the podcast, but we curse a lot on there. He's like, it's too much. But every time he brings it up, he's like, that one episode you had with the porn star, that was ridiculous. He wasn't saying it like in a bad way. He was like, I didn't know you had that in you. But pretty much, I don't know what he means by that. But yeah.
Hey man, it's like I said, a cool situation, and like we curse on here and all that stuff all the time too. Yeah. It's no big deal. It's just with certain people, like sometimes we have like CEOs and other people on here, and then people are like, why are you so buttoned up there? I'm like, because I'm not trying to break the trust of this person, and a lot of times they have an image that they got going on. Like next week we have a gentleman, his name's TJ Ward. Shout out TJ Ward. He is working on the opioid crisis that's here in Jacksonville, and the Chamber of Commerce here in Jax. He works for them, and we're gonna sit down and talk about that whole situation, about the whole like drug epidemic and everything. So I think
that's cool.
Yeah, man. Like I said, like I love just getting to know people's story, and also if you're doing cool stuff like that, I'm always interested in it. Like I'm pro marijuana, so that's no issue at all. But like the opioid side of things, it's just that's a little bit on the harder side. And obviously Jacksonville, it's a drug city in a lot of different spots. Yeah,
you want to switch it up. You don't want to have just like the same old guests. It would be boring if it's some podcasts where they just have porn girls on, and that just get boring after a while. So sometimes you just got to switch it up, have all kind of guests. Let's say I wouldn't suggest you have a porn star because you're married.
The wifey, I don't think would be very happy about that one. She's shaking her head back there.
I wouldn't suggest that one, but yeah, all kind of different people in walks of life. Just get them on here.
Everybody has an interesting story, man. That's my main goal. Like with us, this will be 106 episodes, and we're the same way as you guys. We put out one every single week. The only time we missed an episode was when we got married. So we're just always on that grind, making sure we put something out. And like for us, this will be interview number 2 or 3 this week. We had 3 or 4 next week, and then we're taking a month off and going on a cruise. But everything was still going to be put out. It's just more just taking that break from actually interviewing. Take some time to go look for other people, find some other stuff, and see what else is out there.
That's dope. Where you going on your cruise?
So we're going to the Cayman Islands, and we're going to Jamaica.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been there before.
Oh, yeah?
Cruise,
yeah, man.
Carnival cruise?
No, we're going on Royal Caribbean.
Royal Caribbean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there before. How many days?
5.
That's crazy. I went on a 5. I like cruises, but the last time I had one it was either a 5 or a 6. I felt it was too many days.
Sometimes, man, because you're drinking on the boat, having a good time. You're in the sun. Sooner or later, you're just burnt out to death, or you've eaten 10,000 calories in one single day, and you just feel stuffed.
After the 4th day, you were like, "All right, get me off this boat," because you got that one day where like you're just on the boat all day for 24 hours. That last day is always hell. So
yeah,
that stopped me from going on cruises.
I like cruises, man. I have a good time because me and Shannon are very much the way like we'll go out if we want to go do stuff, and then if we just want to go hang out, we'll go find like a little bar, go chill there. Or like me, I like to go to the casino, try to see if I can win some money. It hardly ever happens, but try my best to and everything. Yeah. But do you so with the podcast and everything, we were talking about you gaining traction and everything. When did you get to that point where you really thought this could turn into something and grow, obviously, to what it is today?
All right, I didn't really feel that way until we got the studio.
Oh,
yeah. I feel like once we got the studio and we had more space to work, and everybody took it serious. So right around the time we got the studio, my co-host Joe, he quit his job because he was doing the rugs and whatnot, and he was getting money off of that. So he quit his job. So we had like more time to actually think and get content done. I think that's around the time like we actually like started blowing up, because people started, like we was talking about, your setup goes a long way. Everybody was seeing the setup. It wasn't what we was doing before. We was in my apartment, sitting around a table. It looked more professional, and like people seen that, they were like, "All right, we taking this more serious." And then we started posting more clips. Clips is a big thing. We started bringing more people in the city on the podcast, because, like I was saying before, it was out of my apartment, so it was like I wasn't trying to bring them certain people in. But we started bringing more people in the city, and just started like blowing up from there.
Hell yeah,
it was like
man.
a word of mouth type thing.
That's cool, dude. And that means I feel like word of mouth is more important than anything, really. You know, if you can get your city talking about you, that's where it'll just spread out and go do its thing. Do you guys ever go outside of Jacksonville and go like interview people outside of things? Obviously, you're talking about Miami with the Exotica, but besides that, any other interviews outside of Jax?
Yeah, we've done interviews in like other places. We about to go to Atlanta and next weekend and do a couple interviews. But we've done live shows in other cities.
That's fine.
We've done like 3 live shows in Miami during Art Basel. So
that's cool, man. I'd love to hear that. And like talking to other podcasters, you guys give me ideas for, you know, wanting to do similar things and trying to help like blow up. Like my goal, what I really would like to do with like the podcasters that are serious here in Jacksonville is create a network. I think that would be a cool thing of doing it, but obviously, you know, you got to trust other people to make sure they're going to put out their content and, you know, do what they need to do kind of thing. But you were talking about all the comedians who have their own podcast. You know who Tom Segura is?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
2 Bears, 1 Cave, all that stuff. Yeah. I like his setup of podcasting. You know, he has like 4 or 5 under the same umbrella, so they're all getting paid for the like in the same pot and then breaking each other off in different ways. They just opened up, or they just got their own liquor company now. It's called 4 Osos, 4 Bears.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they say they have their own vodka company now and everything. And I've watched them since they were, you know, like you said, smaller, and now they're just the biggest things out in the world.
I kind of fell off listening to them because I used to listen to I think it's like Your Mom's House of Podcast.
Yeah.
I used to listen to that, and I forgot. But I still listen to, they got the Danny Brown show.
Yeah, I know Danny Brown, yeah.
I listen to that one a lot.
Yeah, I say it's cool that they've set that up and like added a new guy in there, and he has good music and does all kinds of different stuff. It's cool to see like the growth of that and just the podcasting game, man. I think it's just such an interesting thing because everybody does it differently, and you know, some people get different results than others, but I like how people can be creative and add their own spin into things.
Yeah, I like listening to like, I don't necessarily one day want to start a network, but I like the podcast like networks that got like their own like recording compounds. Like any of those I like No Jumper. I don't really like none of their content, but I like the business aspect of it. I love that.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like we were talking about with having the multiple podcasts on there, and as you said, they have a compound, and they have like 4 or 5 different sets in the one compound. So that's why I like y'all set up where wasn't aware. I saw it was a big space. I'm like, that has to be somewhere else other than like their home or something like that. And it's cool to see that you guys were able to get out there and do that whole thing. Was it hard for you guys to find a space to want to do this?
Yeah, that's the hardest part. Man, let's got any wood? Knock on wood. Hopefully we never lose it, because like finding space in Jacksonville is like damn near impossible for like reasonable prices. So our landlord, he works with us. I just randomly seen it on Craigslist one day.
Craigslist?
Yeah,
that's clutch, bro.
Seen it on Craigslist one day, and I seen it, and I hit Joe up. I was like, yeah, we got to get this right now. We can't even wait anymore.
Hit that man up right now. See what's going on.
Yeah, we went that morning. He was like, we looked at it like, yeah, let's go and sign this lease. And we've been locked in for like 3 or 4 years over there. So
hell yeah, man. How big is the place?
I think it's like I think it's 800 square feet.
That's a good amount of space, bro, to set up like a set. And do you guys do all like your editing from there, or do you do your editing at home kind of thing?
Do editing there. Do everything there.
Hell yeah, man. That's cool.
I try not to leave. Once I go home, I'm relaxing. I'm not doing nothing podcast related. So
I understand.
Everything related, all our computers in there. We do everything in-house.
And is this what you do full-time, like no other side job or anything? Like, obviously, you were talking about doing the other podcasts and stuff, but is this like your only thing now?
Yeah, that's what I do full-time.
Congrats,
so
man.
I'm making money off the podcast, but the side gig is other people's podcasts. Yeah.
Congrats, man. That's a big thing. You're making money out of something you enjoy doing. That's what most people in this world want to do. You know, like that's my goal, is to get to the point where build this up enough, and if I can make it to the point where like me and Shannon can both quit our jobs and, you know, we just do this, that would be the main idea, obviously. And obviously that's what everybody wants to do. But
yeah, that's gonna happen. You just gotta keep going.
Yeah, man.
Just don't quit.
Yeah, that's my thing, dude. It's like, you know, there's sometimes where I get discouraged, or like, you know, some episodes do better than others, obviously, as you know. And there's some weeks I'm like, man, why the fuck didn't that work? And then
I had that recently, like earlier this year. I wasn't gonna quit, but it just made me depressed. I dropped 2 back-to-back episodes, and like they only had like 120 views on them. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, I was like, nah, this not it. But I was like, but the YouTube, you just got to keep just dropping. Sometimes you're going to have bad weeks. Every week not going to be good, so you just got to keep going with it.
Oh, yeah, man. Like, what gets me excited, like, whenever I get off work and I know I have an episode like today, I was hyped, bro. I was waiting. I was like, I'm ready for this man to get here, have a good conversation and everything. And also talking to someone who knows what the podcast game is like.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's not easy. You got to find guests. You also got to make sure you're not just asking the same thing over and over again and keeping it fresh. So it's definitely an interesting thing.
Yeah, one of the big things, I don't know if you had this yet, when you you get excited for a guest, then they cancel on you.
Bro.
That sucks so much.
See, for me, so I have a rule. So, like, obviously, if it's a bigger person, you know what I mean, that's whatever. And if they're busy, I know they're busy, I can understand having to reschedule to do that. I've had 2 guests that canceled me 10 minutes before they were supposed to be here. I'm like, all right, we're not having you on. You know what I mean? That's just, you know, what it is. You can give me an hour, 2 hours saying, hey, man, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. Got some other things going on.
If it's 10 minutes, it got to be, your car had to blow up or some shit.
Yeah, that's my whole thing. But, you know, we're pretty flexible on that whole situation, you know.
I had that discussion with like one of the podcasts I produce. They're starting out. I think they only been podcasting maybe like 6 months or so. They had a guest. It was a pretty big guest, and they just didn't show up, and they were like discouraged. I was like, this gonna happen. It's
part of the game.
Yeah, it's part of the game. Some people just don't respect other people's time. That's just unfortunately how it is. Especially if this person got as many followers as they had. I think this person had like almost 300K. They probably feeling themselves. They were like, yeah, I'm gonna come through your podcast. And the day of, they're like, fuck that podcast. So it's just what it is. And I was bringing up Combat Jack earlier. One of the main things I remember Combat Jack saying on his show was, if you got to rely on a guest, you don't have a show.
Exactly.
So if you got to rely on a guest every time, then you don't have anything. So I like, if y'all can't, the fact that your guest not here, and you here right now and you don't want to do your show, I don't know what to tell you. You got to keep going. So you got to freestyle.
Oh, yeah.
You got to entertain your people.
Yeah, man. The way that works for us is like anytime if we are not able to get a guest or schedules are not working or everything, me and Shannon kind of have a podcast inside this podcast. We call it Sunday Hangouts.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we'll sit down, have a beer or two, and just kind of talk about what's going on and, you know, just kind of pivot that way. And people love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like with us getting married last year, basically what the Sunday Hangout turned into was us talking about not the podcast, but talking about the wedding and like what situations we got going on, who we're going to be working with, all that stuff. And then, you know, it actually taught us to add segments to shows. That was a big thing for us to learn, is just adding different things that can make the show keep it interesting on that part.
And it's probably people that's listening to you that they probably prefer that more than you talking to other people. You never know, for real.
Well, that's why we usually do one about once a month, just to keep it fresh and like add that in there and give, you know, if there's some people that want that more than just the regular interview style, I got no problem doing that, man. I can talk about my life all day long.
Exactly.
No one knows more about my life than me, kind of thing.
Exactly.
But to get a little bit more into your podcast, obviously, I'm sure you guys are busy all the time with guests and everything.
Yeah,
do you have a white whale that you're looking for, or like a big guest that is like, that's like, if there's anybody I could get right now, that would be the one I want?
So like dream guest, like
dream
no
guest,
matter how big.
Yeah.
My dream guest, and I say it all the time, if I do this interview with him, I'm retiring, is Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence? That'd be freaking sweet.
I'm a big fan of Martin Lawrence. That's like, if I was to meet Martin Lawrence, I probably will just like be starstruck. And if I was to interview him, I don't even know, man. It would be a classic because he's like one of my favorite comedians. I used to watch his show. I watch his show a lot now.
Martin was a good show, yeah.
So yeah, I just grew up watching him, and it was like one of my favorite shows. So if I was to actually sit down with him and interview him, it would be a blessing.
You know, someone who's in that same vein right there, who I wish I was still alive, is Bernie Mac, man. I feel
definitely, yeah.
Bernie would be a cool conversation to sit down and talk with, because obviously his show, like I used to watch that show when I was younger. Like they would play it at school whenever it was like summertime and stuff. We'd just watch Bernie Mac, and I got to learn more about his comedy as I've gotten more into it, because I love all the comedians, like you said, Rogan, Bert Kreischer, who else? Like really a mix of all of them, kind of thing. And really enjoyed his comedy as well. So he would be a big interview. And for me, obviously, I would love to sit down and talk with Rogan. He just seems like he has so many different, he knows so much stuff, and just the
Rogan's a good one too.
I would say get in there. But like for me, man, I just like talking to a lot of times business owners as well. I'm very interested on how people make things work. Like one dude that we had on, JEA, our electric company here in Jax.
Yeah,
we sat down with the CEO of them, and super interesting conversation. I was like, how are you the boss of like $1 billion company right now? What makes you qualified, kind of thing? And it's interesting to hear what their answers are.
Yeah, you know who I want to interview randomly? Just a business owner. The dudes, I forgot their names, but this is the dudes that own Firehouse Subs. Like, they live in Jacksonville.
Yeah, it was created here. That's right.
Yeah, it was created. So I just want to randomly just interview them and pick their brains. But I haven't tried to reach out, but that would be a dope interview.
That would be a sweet interview. Yeah. You know what I mean? Get some sandwiches out of it too. Be like, can I get that black card that gives me free subs for the rest of my life?
You don't even got to give me a year. Just give me like 6 months free subs.
Hey, man, I'd be the same way. I'm the same way, bro. 100%. Nah, man, there's all kinds of interesting people in here as well. And you were talking about your co-host as well. Your co-host has his own shop, correct?
Yeah, Safe House. Yeah, Safe House Jacks.
Safe House, and is that where you were talking about the rugs get made, custom rugs and everything like that?
Yeah, he does custom rugs and rug classes also.
That's crazy, man.
That's pretty dope.
I say I need to go in there. I need to get a nice little something to cover this middle space right here. So I think a rug would be sweet.
Definitely. Whenever we get a chance, we could probably do something.
Hell yeah, man.
Some content. Yeah,
I'm always down, man. Like I said, with us, we're just trying to collaborate with everybody, man. We want to work with people who are doing stuff around Jacks and just help promote everybody that they got going on.
Yeah, we're gonna be tapped in forever. We're gonna get some content done.
I'm down, man.
We'll get something done.
I was saying,
you know how some people just talk, they're like, we're gonna get something done, and they never happen. We're gonna get something done for real.
Yeah, man. That's been my biggest thing is like for the over 2 years now that we've been doing this, I've only been asked to be on one podcast, surprisingly.
You got the invite. You can come on ours.
Hey, man, let me know. I'd be more than down to slide, dude. I say have a good time. And, some people say that I act like a little buttoned up on this show. It's just for, working with some business owners and stuff like that. I have all kinds of crazy stories, especially from my job and growing up in Jackson, stuff like that, ran around doing my thing.
Yeah, we do that collab. I feel the same way about like people not really bringing me on, because it's funny because people just say all the time. I've heard in interviews some people say that, like, I inspire them and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you ain't never tell me that personally. You said it on the show, but you never told me. But thank you.
Yeah, anyway. I understand, man. Some people are just about to talk, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so, funny enough that you brought up the all talk part. Do you ever have situations where, doing your podcast, you're working with these people, collaborating on posts and everything? Have you ever had someone where you do the podcast with them, you're posting clips, and they don't want to work with you or work with it or collaborate, post anything up like that? You ever go through those situations?
Yeah, those people just don't get invited back on the podcast.
Same situation.
And it's funny because they always do that, and then they always ask to come back. Every time they're going to ask to come back, and I was like, you had your chance, and I ain't gonna say you blew it because I ain't
like that. I
ain't Joe Rogan, but I feel like you could have did more with what you had.
I mean, that's my thing, dude. Like, I'm basically everything I'm putting out is promoting the person. I'm not even promoting myself. Obviously, the podcast gets seen whenever we do collaborations because it's on their Instagram and stuff. But I'm like, dude, this is me. Really, you're not editing the videos or anything like that. I'm putting stuff out for you kind of thing, and it blows me away when people don't collaborate with stuff. I'm like, come on, man, you can't post one up?
Yeah, I used to feel some type of way about that, but I stopped caring at a certain point. I used to feel a certain way about that, and then them accepting the collab and then like removing it.
Bro,
I used to like, I admit, I get a little butthurt about that. I used to, but after a while I just stopped caring. I was like, I'm gonna get my shit off anyway, so I don't really care whether you do that or not. That's
kind of the point I've gotten to nowadays as well. Is just like, I'm gonna put the content out there, it's gonna speak for itself and it'll do its thing. You know what I mean? I'm not relying on you for my stuff to grow. I'm trying to work with you because I feel like working together will help us both grow, not just me kind of thing. It's a handshake deal.
Yeah, because either way, if your content is good, Instagram gonna push it up, whether that person accept that collaboration or not. I do get some people that they'll do my show and then they'll accept all my stuff, and then I'll see them do somebody else's show and then they don't accept the other person's show. And granted, salute to them for accepting my stuff, but I was like, you accept their stuff too.
I've had people do that with me in the past before. I'm just like, come on, man. I'm like, I see what you got going on. You know what I mean? You can't do this for me. But it, like you said, it just is what it is. But no, it's just part of the game, man. And speaking of other guests that you guys have had on your podcast as well, Benny Banks, Ben's 47 and everything as well.
Shout out them.
The end is near. Shout out to those boys.
Yeah, they're doing good stuff. I remember I had Ben's on when he was first on. I think he was just strictly directing. So the fact that he just got a team and he's just like, when I first interviewed, he didn't have a team. So the second time around, he had a team, and he's blowing up right now. So I'm proud of him.
Yeah, man. I just had him on here a couple weeks ago and had a good conversation, and like we got more into like the mental health side of things and like the stuff that happens behind the scenes of creatives that they don't really talk about and like out in the world kind of thing, like depression, losing family members, and like what kind of leads him into what he's doing today. Yeah. And it's cool to see, and the whole group's awesome, man. And Benny Banks, he's my age. He went to high school with a bunch of my buddies and stuff, and I posted his episode, and they were like, I had like 5 of my friends were like, is that him? I was like, yeah. I was like, and it was just funny to see, like, people knew him before he was Benny Banks than what he is now, or Ben's 47 and everything.
It's funny. I got a funny story about Ben.
Yeah.
So when the first time we interviewed him, he hit us up for an interview, and I was like, I don't know this guy for real, so I was like, I don't really know about it. And I admit, I was on some Hollywood shit. I didn't really. I seen his DM and I was like, whatever. I was like, I don't get the point. He didn't really have that much all his stuff on his page.
Understandable.
So I did some Hollywood shit. I was like, I don't really know about this. So one day, he just randomly just did a post, and he was like, blow their mentions up. And then he just had a bunch of people just ask like, hey, get him on the show, get him on the show. And I was like, if you're doing all this, you might as well just come on the show. So I invited him on. It ended up being a good interview.
Yeah.
So
Ben's a good talker, man. Like once you get him going, kind of thing, get a little bit deeper into him. He's full of knowledge and all kinds of other stuff, and has lived a whole life as well. So he has interesting.
Definitely. That was a lesson for me though. I was like, I can't do that. I just gotta. If I need to have, I can't just judge people off what they're doing on social media. If I can have a good conversation, if they actually working, then I need to work with them.
Yeah, man, that's my thing. It's all the time where I'm like, I think I know this person, and I'm like, maybe this interview will be good, maybe it won't. And a lot of times it's those ones that are like, oh, I'm like, they have a lot more behind them than you really would know just from the surface kind of thing. So it's big of you to, sit down and actually get to know the person and, let them on your show kind of thing. Because there's people who are clamoring every single day. Like I'm sure you do as well, just DM, like, hey, let me come on the show. Like, I have one song out, I want to put this out. And I'm like, I appreciate it, man, but let me see a little bit more of what your work is. And, if I don't vibe with the music, that's another thing. If the music's not good to me, man, I can't lie and just sit here and like tell you like, oh yeah, man, your stuff's banger, bro. It just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I have some people like they'll have one song and then they'll hit me up and I'll be like, you gotta put some more work in, man, because it's like, what are we gonna talk about for an hour? Like, you just got one song.
Yeah.
And like, I could talk about your life, but it's just like, it's not gonna benefit you. And then you'll look like a year later and they're still DMing you, and you look on their page and they still got that one song, and I was like, you doing more work hitting me up for an interview than you are with your actual music. So come on, do something. Yeah. It is some people where they just had that one song, and then they'll like hit me up and I'm like, you got to do a little bit more, and then like they'll start dropping tapes, and I'm like, okay, now we got something to talk about. So I could listen to your tapes, I could break down your lyrics. That'll do more for you. You could clip it, like, oh, he actually fuck with my music. So it's like, you could do it on that. But I don't want to just interview somebody with one song. It's like, that does nothing for me or you, because I'm gonna drop this. And people are like, I don't want to hear what this one song dude got to say. It's like, and now the interview got 20 views, and they're like,
got to put more of a body of work out there with everything. And man, I totally understand that. It's just how the game works on that. Yeah. One of the other questions I had for you is, well, do you have any advice for someone who may be thinking about starting a podcast? Obviously, as someone who is successful in the podcast game, any piece of advice for someone who's thinking about starting one?
Oh, the main thing I would say is just clips. Clips going to take you where you need to be. And also, don't be afraid to post a clip multiple times. That's one of the big pointers. Just from looking at what you got going on, you're in a good track.
I appreciate it, man.
A nice setup, quality, all that stuff. Obviously, you're taking it serious, so you're doing good. So you post clips, of course, but I'm just saying in general.
No, you're good.
Somebody that's watching, if you want to blow your podcast up, post more clips.
Yeah, man. That's the main thing. Is like, my rule is one a day, at least one a day. Put something out, and like that's what I was doing before you got here. I was sitting there making clips, getting stuff ready for the next like 5 days, just to make sure I'm prepared on all that. Because
another hidden gem, everybody, don't be scared of Facebook.
Oh, I use Facebook, bro.
Oh, you use Facebook?
Oh, 100% I use Facebook.
Everybody be like, Facebook, the old people app. So, yeah, don't be scared of Facebook. We got 72K on Facebook followers.
Damn,
so, yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah,
Some of my biggest clips are on Facebook, to be 100% honest with you.
Exactly.
Yeah, like TikTok, for me, but I've also just started TikTok a couple months ago, so still trying to get it going and growing kind of thing.
TikTok's a pain in the ass. So, I feel like, on our TikTok, I think we got 26K. It's dead. I feel like we've had 26K for like a year now. TikTok is one of those apps where you just got to post damn near every day, and it really don't matter, because sometimes you can just post and you can not post for a week. They say you got to post every day, but you can not post for a week. They say you get one that get like 100K, and you are.
Well, dude, I've seen on y'all's page, man, you got a couple like 600s, 700s, if not a mil. From what I saw pinned at the top, I was like, damn.
Yeah, you get that, and then next thing you know, you post one the next day and it's got 200. You're like, all right.
That pisses me off too. When I post something and like, you put all this work into a clip, you think this is gonna be good, and a lot of times it's the one that you're like, maybe this will do all right, and that's the one that blows up. You're just like, you're like, okay, I understand.
Get one. So I was telling you about just a couple seconds when I was saying, don't be scared to repeat a post. Sometimes I will post something and it'll get 300 views, and then I'll come back and post it like maybe like a week later, and then it'll just get 100K. Same caption, same everything. So you're like,
isn't it weird how that whole situation works, man? It's just
weird as
this
hell.
algorithm or whatever the hell it is, man. It's the weirdest thing. Like one video I posted, it was me, funny enough, we're talking about cruises. It was Shannon get off the boat, and there's just like some lovey bullshit post, you know what I mean, being cute. And that thing went off for like 12K, like 14K. I'm just like, really? I'm like, out of all the things I post, this is the main thing that goes off.
Yeah, one of my good friends, his name is Chris. He lives out in Vegas, but he's from Miami. He does like camera work for the UFC.
Oh, what?
So yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So every year, Art Basel, they have this statue that's like I don't know how to describe it. It's a weird statue. It's like a statue where it's like a dude's head's floating. And it's just, I don't know how like scientifically that works, but it's just a dude head floating on the statue. And he goes to there every year at the same time, Art Basel, and he does a TikTok and it gets 5 million views every time.
Damn.
And I don't understand it. He doesn't understand it either, but it works every time. And he's done it like 4 years in a row. 500 plus views every time.
That's crazy, man.
That's insane.
It's wild how it works, man. Some stuff just kind of takes off and just does its thing, and like I was saying, just some of the most random ones will go off and kill it.
Yeah, like one of our it's actually pinned to the top of the RAOP Instagram. It's the one with the porn star where she was saying how she had to tell her brother that she was doing porn.
I saw that one.
So on Facebook, I post that once a month, and every time I post it, it does 1 million views.
Damn.
Every single time. Every time. And I do get some people in the comments like, damn, how many times you going to post this? I'm going to post it until it stops getting 1 million views.
I would say that's money in the bank right there. Every time a mill comes in, or, just exposure. Like, why am I going to not use a video that's going to get a mill every single time?
Yeah. I'm like, only you commenting that, only you noticing I posted it every month. So I'm like, you're just one person, so I'm gonna keep posting it.
I'm a real big, like, obviously I'll look at comments and stuff, but negative ones, unless it's actually something that's like some criticism that, like, okay, you're right, I need to work on that kind of thing. If it's just other shit like, oh, this is stupid, blah, 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 blah. I'm really big on not reading a crazy amount of comments, or at least just the negative ones. I don't even really read the positive ones either, man, because I'm not trying to blow myself up, like blow my head up and think, oh, I'm perfect, I'm doing everything correct. Is the next week, like we've talked about before, it's like, oh, I get 200 views on the...
Yeah, I welcome all comments. Definitely negative ones. Either way, it's gonna get you paid.
Well, yeah.
I got this one video. It's like it's randomly going crazy on YouTube. One of my co-hosts, Joe, it's this singer. Her name is Tyler. She got the song Water, and she had said that she doesn't identify as being black. She is identified as being colored because she's from South Africa, and they don't say black or white. They just say I don't know what they prefer white people as, but she said black people are colored. So we had a discussion on that. He was pretty much saying, I don't fuck with that. I don't think she should be saying that. And like, I don't know what algorithm hit, but we just got a bunch of like black people from like South Africa saying he's an idiot, he's doing this, and it's like 300 comments just going in on him. And then when I sent it to him, I just sent it to him like, hey, you want to see this? And he was like, it is what it is. Yeah. It's getting us views. It's getting us money, so I don't care.
Take it. Yeah.
At the end of the day, we don't know these people.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that word colored, man, that means something different over here in the United States, and that can get you in trouble with, like, kind of saying that kind of stuff. So it's interesting to hear how different places use the different words.
It was one of our homies, his name Eric. Me and him was pretty much on the same idea. We was like, well, we can't tell somebody what to say in the other country because, of course, at the end of the day, we in America, our word don't mean law. So if they say colored over there, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I understand. It's just like, how everything's cancel culture, not here in Jackson at least, but, cancel culture is a whole freaking thing where someone take one word you said and like, he is a bigot, he's terrible, blah, 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 blah. Don't watch his podcast and all this stuff. It's funny to see how certain things go off. And luckily no one said anything like that to me. So I've been good with that.
But yeah, I embrace the hate. So
hey, man, hate. I say if you don't have haters, that means you're not doing something right.
Exactly.
That's the way I look at it, kind of thing. But yeah, man. So I got 2 final questions for you. Do you currently listen to any podcasts that are coming out of Jacksonville? It's fine if you're not listening to mine. I'm not worried about that. But do you have any other podcasts in Jax that you're a fan of?
Well, I just got hip to your podcast, so I do listen to yours.
Oh, you're good. I just wanted to feel like that's what I didn't want you to feel forced to say that.
So you said in Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, Jacksonville.
Paid and Bays podcast because I produced that one. That's a good one. Off the Top podcast. Shout out to Monty. I feel like she might be the biggest podcast in Jacksonville.
I'll have to check hers out.
Yeah, she's pretty good. Off the Top. Damn. in the city.
You're good, man. Just wanted to know if there's any that caught your eye or anything like that.
Kind of froze up.
You're good, man. It's no problem. I know I kind of asked you, and there's so many different names for podcasts and stuff, so it's hard to just come right off the top of your head with it, kind of thing.
Yeah, and when I get in my car, they're gonna come to my head, and somebody gonna hit me up and be like, "Damn,
is that how you feel?"
You got any? It
Yeah,
might be somebody I might be forgetting.
No, you're good, man. So obviously not in Jacksonville anymore, but Bobby Brown's podcast is pretty good because he has like local comedians from Austin, Texas. I've listened to multiple times.
Okay.
I'm sure you may have heard this one, OG Sessions.
OG Sessions?
Nick Usher, Joey.
Oh, yeah. I've heard. I think I may have heard like 2 episodes of them, but we follow each other, but I haven't really tapped in. I think I've heard like the DJ Hariana, just because I work with him. And I listen to that one, but yeah, OG Sessions.
Yeah, so he listens. Let's say he kind of talks to a bunch of like musicians, artists, and everything around Jacksonville, and they do a pretty good job.
I love their setup too.
They do have a clean setup, man. I'm not gonna lie. They did good, and like Nick as well. I know him personally, and Joey as well. Nick's my age, and we do. There's a networking group here in Jacksonville. It's called Jack's Podcasters United. So if you're like a new podcaster or you've been doing it for a little while, you want to do some networking and everything like that, we go in there, and there's like 100 podcasters that go in there, and you get to learn some tips and tricks.
What's the guy's name?
Botter.
Yeah, I always have a hard time pronouncing his name, and he's a good one. He's actually been podcasting as long as I have with the short box. I want to say he was podcasting before me.
He's been around for a minute. I've been lucky enough to have him on the pod as well because, you know, like just getting into this, I was trying to just soak up information because I knew for a fact, like, I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, let me kind of see and maybe be able to pick pieces from other podcasts and be able to add it to mine, kind of thing, or whether it's lighting, camera work, and all that stuff. And the group's been very helpful, man. I've gotten to meet a lot of really cool people, and even some friends of ours have gotten into podcasting. Like Shannon's friend Elizabeth, she just started hers. It's called All Things Film, and she basically does like film breakdown reviews and other things. And it's just interesting to hear, but definitely learned a lot from the group. And Botter's really cool. And
yeah, he's like one of the OGs. I will say I haven't worked with him, which we probably need to work on. But it's like one of the things where like what they say, real to recognize real.
Yeah,
we familiar with each other.
Yeah,
like, we shot each other out a lot, but yeah, we haven't never worked together. But we need to work on that.
Oh yeah, man. You know what I mean? Like you guys said, everybody's busy. Everybody's doing their thing, and you know, like you guys are doing your show, he's doing his show. Everybody's just kind of doing their thing, but it's cool. But so my final question, like I said, thank you for sitting down with me today, man. It's been awesome to get to learn some of your story and everything like that, and I definitely would be more than happy to work with you guys in the future and everything. So,
we're gonna do a part 2. You're gonna come on our show.
Hell yeah, man. I'll be down. So my final question, I ask this to all my guests that it's their first time being on the podcast, and I always ask them, do you feel successful, and in what ways?
In what ways? Yeah, I do feel successful because I was, like I said earlier, I was able to take a hobby that I was doing once a week, and I turned it to like a full-time career. So I think I'm successful in that way.
Hell yeah, man. Congrats. And that's the big thing. I always ask that question because some people are about, you know, the followers, the money in their pocket that they're getting, or anything else, or even just relationships. Like, that's my biggest success is obviously the podcast is doing well and doing its thing, but like, you know, I'm very lucky enough to have a wife that supports me and does other things like that, and real close to the family and stuff. So always interested to hear that. But yeah, man, like I said, it's been awesome to hear your story. So make sure you guys go check out his podcast. All your stuff will be in the link, all the stuff will be in the description. So I'll make sure they'll be able to go straight to you, just like you know how it works. So guys, make sure you guys give them a follow. Before we get out of here, please let everybody know your social media again, your YouTube, your Patreon as well.
Okay, so once again, the podcast is called Random Acts of Podcast. So if you just put RAO Podcast in the Google, everything will pop up, and our Patreon is patreon.com/RAO Podcast.
Yeah.
Tap into that. There's a lot of good content. It's not just the main show. So the other stuff too.
Dropping a bonus episode, and you said you guys got merch as well. So make sure you guys go buy a piece of merch. And if you guys check out his show, please make sure you guys let him know that Who Are You sent you. You know what I mean? We're always happy to like cross-pollinate, get other people to check out other shows and everything. And you guys have all kinds of really good guests. So I think you guys would definitely find a lot of interesting things in there. But before we get out of here, please make sure you guys give us a follow on our social media as well. It's going to be Who Are You Pod for Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, now YouTube as well. Please make sure you guys find the YouTube and give us a subscribe. You know, it'll help us out, help us grow a little bit more, and we're going to be putting more videos out once a week, just like we do the podcast. As well as if you guys know anybody who has a story that needs to be told, a business owner, entrepreneur, artist, any of those kinds of people, and you feel like they'd be a great fit for the show, feel free to send them my way. You can shoot me an email. It's going to be whoareyoupod@yahoo, or you can hit me up on any of the social media, and maybe we'll have you guys on a future show. But as I say every single week, we will see you guys next week.